Shalom. I hope everybody had an easy fast and feels very cleansed after Yom Kippur. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about preparations for Sukkot, but more importantly, putting that into the context of what we spoke about in the very beginning of this Facebook series, which is about understanding what exactly is our relationship with God. And we talked then about the fact that we have a covenant with God. And that covenant is something that was established all the way back in the times of Abraham and Sarah. And the covenant is about Eretz Yisrael. Covenant is about the mitzvahs. Covenant is about giving the Torah 500 years later on Mount Sinai. Covenant is about why we do what we do. This is not a religion. We don't do this just because we believe in this. I don't do what I do because I'm religious. I do it because I'm a B'nai Bris, because I'm a Yid. And that's what Yidden do, because we have a covenant with Hashem. So as a result, there's a relationship there, which is very, very key to understanding who we are and what we do as Jews on a daily basis. If we just do this because we're religious, well, what if somebody doesn't want to be religious? Well, the fact is, tough luck, because you have a covenant, because your parents made a covenant, and their parents did, and their parents did, all the way back to Abraham and Sarah. We have a commitment to be able to bring Mashiach and make this world a better place, and do mitzvahs, and to be able to make this world, transform this world into the type of world that God created it to become. God created it in the raw material and then gives us the potential to be able to transform it into its full potential. And we've done a lot over the years to fulfill our potential. We have a long way to go, as we all will know only too well. But we're definitely closer to the goal than where we were perhaps 50 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago. In any case, without getting into too much history, applying that covenant to understanding the holidays of Tishrei puts a very interesting perspective on it. Because when it comes down to it, Rosh Hashanah is the time that we crown God as our king. It's a time for reestablishing that relationship. It's a time for renewing that covenant. We say, Zocher HaBris, one of the brachas in Musaf, remember the covenant. We talk about the bris and the covenant with God over and over again in the Machzor. Because the bris that we have, the covenant that we have with God going back to the very beginning, is the foundation upon which why we're even standing here, renewing that relationship with God. To renew that covenant and strengthen it and to bring it to a new level for this coming year. So that's the first step. The first step is we renew the covenant in order to be able to crown God as our king, accept our position, and accept the relationship that we have with God, that we are his creations, we are his servants, he is our king and our master, and we have a purpose to fulfill. And that relationship doesn't mean that the king is out to get us, or is always looking over his shoulder, or is constantly making new decrees to be able to have us stumble in different ways. No, that's not it at all. It's a partnership in a certain way. And the Jews in many ways are considered to be partners. Shutafim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a partner with the God in the process of accomplishing something which needs to be accomplished to bring this world to its full potential. So Rosh Hashanah, we reestablish that relationship. Well, once we reestablish a relationship, we say, hey, wait a second. There's a problem here. Look what I did during the year. Look what I didn't do during the year. Look at the sins of omission, the sins of commission. Look at the things that I should have done, the potential I should have done. I renewed this covenant last year also, but I didn't really live up to the expectations that I had of myself, or that my maker had of me. So as a result, we say, you know what? I got to go through a process. I have to go through a process of self-examination. Why, when I renewed the process, when I renewed the covenant last year and accepted Hashem as my king again, why didn't I all of a sudden become a tzaddik? Why did I all of a sudden just decide that I'm going to fulfill everything in the covenant and be a perfect human being, a great Jew? Well, that's not human and it's not real. So every year we have to go through this process of re-examining ourselves, having introspection, davening hard, fasting on Yom Kippur, really trying to do a full tshuva, a full level of returning to God in a way that will truly make a statement that we're serious about renewing this covenant. We really want to do it this time. We want to do it right. Well, God, we are confident accepts our tshuva, accepts our sincere prayers, and blesses us for a good year. And wow, so therefore, in 10 days, I reestablished the covenant, renewed the bris, I had introspection, I decided what I have to fix, I had regret, and gave vidoy, confession for what I know that I didn't do right during the course of the year. And then as the culmination of Yom Kippur, God accepted all of my attempts to be able to show God that I really want to do it the right way. And we're ready to start with a new slate. Wow, that's great. And you know what? Turn around, and 4 days from now, what do we need to do? We're going to celebrate together. God invited me into his house. Yes. As a result of that 10 days of effort, God invited me into his house to be able to celebrate with him. Some people sleep in that house. Some people, most of us, all of us eat in the house. Those who are obligated to do so. We learn in the house. And that house we call a sukkah. And it's a temporary dwelling. And of course, there are many halachas, which I'm not going to go into now, concerning how to build a sukkah and what's required to make a sukkah kosher. And when we have to be in the sukkah, what the minimum requirements are for the sukkah, so forth and so on. But the message behind it is that God's saying, you know what? Let's take this relationship the next step. Let's celebrate together. Now, anybody who only experiences Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is really missing out big time, on what this whole Tishrei experience, what this whole high holiday experience is all about. 2 legs on a chair are not going to stand. And unfortunately, we see too often how 2 holidays during Tishrei are just not going to make it as far as giving a Jew a feeling that I love this religion. I love being Jewish. I love being this transition that I'm going through during the course of this day in order to be able to really make my Judaism meaningful to me. Because a person leaves Yom Kippur, they just went through a whole fast, they're exhausted, and then they go back to the regular life as if nothing happened and say, wow, this between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, this is really heavy stuff. And many Jews that I speak to, of course, feel that this is just a little bit too heavy for them, and they're not really interested in going through another Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur experience. Problem is, they don't have the 3rd leg of the chair. And the 3rd leg of the chair is Sukkot. Sukkot is a time to celebrate. It's a time for the culmination of that relationship. It's a time for everything that we work towards during those 10 days to be transformed into a happy occasion. And that's why Sukkot is considered to be the source of happiness for the whole year long. Chag Simchasenu. It's a time of our joy. And we express our joy in a way that we know it's going to have enough strength and enough power behind it to be able to last us not just into Hanukkah, not just into Purim, and not just into Pesach, but for the whole year long, to be joyous because we're drawing from the fountains of joy during Sukkot. And God flows that joy to us in great numbers, in great quantity, and makes us a vessel for being able to contain that great joy. And that's the time that we feel the beauty of being a Yid, the beauty of being Jewish, sitting in the sukkah, being invited into God's house, experiencing whatever the weather might be, but experiencing what it means to be able to have accomplished what we accomplished the first 10 days and now being reunited with God. And that's why by the last days of Sukkot, we have a holiday, Simchas Torah, which is a time of celebrating with God's Torah. Whether you're a big Talmid Chacham, a sage, or you're the simplest of Jews, we all take the Torah and we dance with it, and our feet become the messenger for this joy that we have. And God says, Kosher alai pridaschem. It's difficult for me that you're leaving me. Spend that extra day of Simchas Torah with me. I don't want you to leave. I've enjoyed so much this culmination of our relationship, from Rosh Hashanah and into Yom Kippur, and even started beforehand. It starts in the month of Elul, of course, a full month of preparation. But it culminates with Simchas Torah when we dance and dance and dance and sing and just enjoy everything about having that relationship with God. So that really is when we take that covenant that God gave us thousands of years ago and we transform it into a real energy source, into a real ability, a new ability to be able to go out there and conquer the world and conquer our problems and conquer our challenges, and do it not with depression, but with joy, with happiness, and with a sense of victory, the sense that we have what it takes, because we're leaving the month of Tishrei with new vigor and with new brachas and blessings from above, to be able to accomplish all the things that we know we have to accomplish, to be able to fulfill our purpose. So that covenant is really the driving force behind the month of Tishrei and behind all the holidays of Tishrei. And may we conclude that month, as the Rebbe pointed out many times at the end of the Farbrengen after Simchas Torah, with the Yaakov holach ladarko, that Yaakov, he quotes, Yaakov went on his way after he had his fight with the angel. He went on his way and he went back home, but he went back with the rechush, with the treasures. And similarly, we leave Simchas Torah not to leave it behind and not to forget about it, but to draw upon the inspiration and the simcha that we experience during this time of Sukkot, in order to be able to schlep it into the rest of the year, to be able to draw upon it and be inspired by it for the rest of the year. And then Tishrei is a real Tishrei. Then this holiday month is a real holiday month, which is accomplishing what it's meant to accomplish, to be the foundation for us to be able to be inspired, to be strong Jews for the whole year long, and to be able to go out there and be able to bring Yiddishkeit into our environment and transform those dark spots in our life, or those dark spots in our community, or those hidden areas that we know we need to insert that little bit of Yiddishkeit, that little bit of Torah, to be able to elevate it and make it more meaningful in our life. With that said, hopefully we'll all have the strength to be able to go out there and do what we need to do, to build a sukkah, to call a rabbi, to get a lulav and esrog, to get invited by a friend or by your local Chabad house to the local sukkah, and to eat as many meals there as you can. I'm sure that anybody who has a sukkah would be happy to have you as a guest, to be able to share the simcha and the joy of Sukkot together with you, in order to be able to help you also to reach that goal of being able to experience the true simcha of this Yom Tov season. All the best. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you soon.